What's up, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Our Shared Experience. I am very interested to see where this conversation with myself and you guys go, because I'd love to talk about the concept of our happiness and how we are in charge of creating it, and that we are the ones that decide whether we are happy or sad. I myself suffered from some serious depression when I was younger, through kind of around the 12, 13-year-old stage of my life. I definitely went back and forth with thoughts of suicide. It got quite serious to the point where I was planning it and writing things out and even rehearsed it, put a gun in my mouth, and yes, I did not know that I was going to go there today, but you know what? There's so many people that are suffering out there with this shared experience and this feeling of sadness and being lost and not knowing where you're going to go. And I will say, when I was younger, the reason why I really struggled with it was because I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I fit the mold of what society said I should look like. I wasn't smart in a sense of school. I didn't feel like everyone else around me. And to be honest, I just could not foresee how I could continue to push forward into a life that I did not know or want to be a part of. I was very fortunate to actually have a friend give me a call at a very, very specific moment when I did have a gun in my mouth. And I decided to pick up that call, and I cried to her, and what blows my mind is that the impact and purpose that I've now brought to my life and into the world is insane to me. Following a passion and having that thing be the thing I live for, that has now led me to 2 world tours, meeting thousands and thousands of young people all around the world who have stood to me face to face, who have cried to me and told me how my tutorials on YouTube have changed their life, and they were thinking about suicide, and finding parkour is the thing that lifted them up. And I'm constantly in this state of trying to figure out, what is my purpose here. I find myself wanting more fame or success, and it's empty without purpose, right? I love the idea of building the platform in which I stand on so that I have the power to speak honestly to you, and open up and have conversations, and hopefully shed light into the life that I have lived, but also the life that you're living as well. So back when I was 14, I could have never imagined that things would progress to the point they are today. If you guys don't know much about my life, I will just say I've become a very successful action sports athlete in parkour, and because of that, I've literally traveled the globe. I've met a ton of people, had incredible conversations, and really, I believe, had a huge part in like I think about what I do as ripples in water, right? Like, I think, all right, what is this thing that I can do or give out or be a part of? And how does that affect others? And it doesn't need to be an immediate effect. And I might never, ever see the return or the impact that what I'm doing will have. But what I know is that what I'm doing is affecting, right? Everything we do, every thought we have is actually having an immediate impact on everything and everyone around us, including ourselves. So when I talk about this concept of that we are in charge of our own happiness, we have to really think about, like, what are my thoughts? What are my daily thoughts? And what are those, how am I in charge of that? Or am I? Am I just letting the subconscious lead me down the road to a very like dark place? You know, am I physically, am I waking up? Oh, my leg hurts. So you're waking up and immediately like limping on it because your leg hurts, so you should limp. But the limp is actually making the leg worse or convincing your brain that it is worse. So then the muscles are atrophying and everything's kind of stopping and slowing. But meanwhile, if you just feel good, right? And how do you do that? That's, I guess, the biggest problem is like, it's a progressional thing. Everything in my life, I've literally like tied back to progression. And this is the biggest lesson that I've learned doing parkour and other action sports, is that even the little, like the smallest steps that you can take are gonna lead to very big things, whether you see them in the immediate present or not. So I just think everything's a progression. And I think one thing that I've been doing lately that I'd love to pass on to you guys and you can let me know, what you think, is this idea of the past. Can we let go of the past? I constantly find myself in my morning meditation, I'm in my steam room shower, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to manifest and think about what I want out of the future, things I want to see happen, things I want to do, and I find myself constantly going back to like past events, and and what I've been doing is my tool is that I go, oh, that's the past, can't change it, no reason to think about it. Let's think about what's coming up, what's the future, what do I want to do next? Because everything I just did may have some sort of residual impact on what I'm doing next, but there's no reason to sit there and dwell on it, because honestly, it's gone and it's the past and we can't change it. And we could be a better person tomorrow. We could be a better person right now, but we can't change what we've already done. So sitting there thinking about it, dwelling on it, I urge you guys to give this a chance. Think about this, even just for today, right? We're talking about small progressions. Use this tool for today and see if you find yourself thinking about something you did, and whether you're having a negative or positive thought about it, just recognize and, oh, that's from the past. Let me think about, like, use that moment to remind you of what you should be thinking about, what you want in the future. Yeah, this got kind of deep. I think I'm not afraid to talk about the suicidal thoughts and urges that I had when I was younger, because I really do think, like, I think back on it quite often. I think, it's from the past. But what I find value in is that I never imagined living the life that I'm at. And nor did I try to live this life. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't like, all right, I'm not going to kill myself. Instead, I'm going to become a pro free runner. Like, the goals were never that big, because when I started parkour, there were no pros. There wasn't a life in this. I just continued to chase the feeling of flying and action sports and living in the fun and the passion. And I think if we all just can give ourselves the challenge of finding what is fun for us, not what society says should be fun, not being afraid of the way society or the lessons of our parents and our friends and the area we grew up in, not those limiting factors telling us, you're good at this, you should do this. Not the things that are holding us back, but the things that we just find a little bit of joy in, and just like exploring that a little more. Maybe it's just like, oh wow, I drew this doodle and it was kind of cool. Not because my friend said, oh, that's pretty good, but because I had fun doing it, because I lost myself in this doodle. And afterward I looked at it and I was like, oh, I like this. And then maybe the next day you flip through your pages and like, well, that's pretty good. So why not explore that? Just give yourself, the goal is not to become a professional artist. The goal is like, let me see if I could doodle some more, or let me carve out a little time today for me to doodle. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to keep this conversation going. So if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment section below. Again, Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm just trying to build this up, and if you're listening to this on podcast, thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a review. This has been awesome because honestly, this is episode 3. It's the building blocks. This is very therapeutic for me. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you get a lot out of this. And it's cool that there is no goal for this. I don't expect this to blow up and be some giant podcast or YouTube channel, but it's cool that I just get to come out here and talk and hopefully let out some of this emotion and pass on some of this knowledge. So thanks again for watching and listening. Later, guys.